like extra paranoid. Right. It's fine. Hey everybody, the Retweral here, and welcome back to more of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Okay, this was going to be Steins Gate, but after 30 minutes, I was alerted to my audio being broken. It sounded like my mic was broke, but it seems like the game didn't have any sound either, so I think the issue may have just been OBS being weird. Although I think it's my own fault because I moved my computer when OBS was open, which I probably shouldn't do, just to avoid, you know, anything getting broken. Regardless, I just decided to do this, because then I can finish the case, which is nice, but also because then it means I'm not going to be doing Steins Gate right after just trying to do Steins Gate, because that's the one way to make yourself hate a game, to constantly re-record it. Either way, let's go! Oh wow, I turned this down shitloads. This is going to be weird to play, honestly, because most of today I've played the Great Ace Attorney, and it's going to be quite different, maybe? We'll see. Either way, well, this is it. Today's the day all goes down. And then there was yesterday. Oh yeah, where Darian came in and screwed everything up. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy, we're leaving. Darian, wait. I never liked you. Either of you. Huh? Oh yeah, I forgot. BlueStacks has had an update too. So now, when I'm at full screen with my apps, a toolbar doesn't appear at the top when I move my mouse up there. It's now on the right-hand side of the window. Does that actually appear in Capture? It doesn't. Okay, good. Phew! Damn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Marchie had to say. And I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. Oh! Uh-oh... What was that? He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? Oh. Okay. Valant Grammari. Using the door like an average muggle, no less. You aren't the witness today, are you? Oh, shit, I've just realised why it's so quiet. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's why. Oh, balls. Well, I apologise. That's the only downside to if I use this to actually just play games and not record them. Is, yeah, I turn down the volume so I can, like, you know, watch or listen to other stuff. Oh, I feel like an idiot. I was like, why is this so quiet? Either way, you aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valant? Oh, Valant. A preposterous proposition. How could I stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day. Ooh, with vanishing magic? Indeed. I will jump upon an express train, and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? A grand Grammari glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. It's true, see, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell. Oh wow, it disappeared. And there he goes. He sure seemed happy about that illusion thing. Oh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. Now, the big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. I didn't even get to read that. Or the Eiffel Tower. Anything, really. So, he was talking about what we saw at the concert. Lemmy's disappearing act. And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? Ah, excuse me, sir. Yes? The scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 AM. Sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request. Some urgent personal business. Okay. Great, I bet he stayed up too late last night watching courtroom dramas. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. The hospital? I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Oh, that's who it is. The Chief Justice's son is the guy that has incuritis. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning. The Chief Justice's son. Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning? The judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. Incuritis syndrome. First case in country. Yeah, there we go. There's an article about it in the newspaper. If you care to read about it yourself. Yes, there we are. Okay. Incuritis. Where have I heard that before? Yeah, I knew as soon as the egg was... Goddamn. That was random. No, as soon as the egg was mentioned as being a cure for incuritis, I was like, I recognise that, but I couldn't place who the character was that had, or has, incuritis. Okay, cool. Can I actually read it? Article about the Chief Justice's son, who is inflicted with incuritis. Oh. Yeah, I'm certainly able to read it. We can basically read the first 2 lines. I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV Guide page to me. Try not to lose the page with the funnies, if you can. Oh yeah, because that's what Apollo likes to read. Alright. Let's do this. My apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of, how do you say his name again? Machi Toba. Our suspect, Fortissimo. Right. It's his trial in any case. The defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor? No? Well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time. Incuritis, was it? That article said there is no known cure. Herr Judge, let me say, with all honesty, I feel your pain. But now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law. Indeed. We left off at quite the juncture yesterday. Yeah, with Darian. I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouze. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescend. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Oh! Yes, Lammy stopped him. We know. We've been through this. Wait. That voice just now. It was him. I am sure of it. It was him? That voice I heard. Talking to Mr. Latouze. When I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian. No way. And that's where it ended. Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darian would guest star in the season cliffhanger? As a suspect. I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings. Darian Crescent is a member of my band, the Governors. He is also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case, or file new charges. And your reason is... weren't you aware, Herr Forehead? He has an impeccable alibi. Oh yeah. The concert, obviously. An alibi? Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. Beep, 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 beep. The Governors ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took centre stage. Does it have to show this again? So the only performers appearing were myself, Lammy, and Machi, along with a drummer and bassist, for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the 3rd set. Lammy and the defendant, Machi, had left the stage at that point, and the Governors were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Skye, mind you. And Apollo. You heard them too, right? I sure did. Furthermore, Lammy herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime. When she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescent talking. But that's impossible. Detective Crescent was... Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila! A perfect alibi. Does the defense have anything to add to this? It's true. When I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darian Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged. Which means that Lammy was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true. Very well. Of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections. Uh-oh, Apollo. If he declares a verdict now... But Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lammy might have been lying to protect Machi. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center? Yeah, he was about to tell us and then he got pulled away by Darian. About the case? What about the case? He wants to tell us about Mr. Latouche's death? Yeah, there he is. This meeting's over. Darian? Machi was trying to tell us something, I know it. So maybe the best thing to do is ask him, under oath. Very well. The court finds the defendant, what was his name again? Oh yeah! Your Honor! No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquise, or Mr. Justice. Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... the defendant? Oh, but I do. The defense calls defendant Machi Toba to the stand. It's probably just Tobaye, or something. What? But he doesn't speak English. We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases, such as I love you and where is the toilet? The defense would like to request Lammy as the interpreter. Lammy? But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant. But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie? This is most unusual. Bravo, Herr Forehead. Herr Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lammy lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that. Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal. Finally, some progress. Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lammy to the witness stand. Oh. Oh man. I suppose there is a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name, to begin with. If you would, Lammy. Yes. He says, Machi... whatever, the defendant. This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really need an interpretation of that message in particular. So far so good. Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would. Huh? If I would what, Your Honor? Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about? What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet. Apollo. It's about what he saw. Aren't you going to ask him about what he was about to tell us yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying? Excuse me a moment, if I might speak. Yes, Lammy? Just now, Machi said there is something about which he wishes to testify. Machi wants to testify about something? What could it be? What sort of testimony is he talking about? One moment, please. The suspense is killing me. What? 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 Well, according to Machi, he has proof of his innocence. Oh. What? Oh, as the courtroom erupts into chaos. Erupts, not abrupts. This is a surprise. Victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means. Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Machi. Please testify to the court. Very well. Okay. Proof of innocence. So he says the word of Mr. Latour's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, that is, he, could not have done it. Okay. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. Yeah, I guess. Then again... I see. Wasn't there a point where Lammy wasn't anywhere nearby and it seemed like he understood what we were saying? Which is strange. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely. I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lammy to know the meaning of that song. Lammy, did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him, generally, what the song was about. But never in so much detail, and he never asked. He was off. Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lammy might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would. Yes, Your Honour. Something's hidden in that testimony, I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday, it'll work today. Okay. Wait, can I use my bracelet wherever? God, I've got it right to your ear. Ow. Okay, it came as a great shock. I'll just press everything. Were Machi and Mr. Latour's close? Yes, after we travelled around the world on tour together. I mean, this is Machi's cross-examination, not yours. But I knew the answer. This is a court of law. We'll play by the book. I understand. When Prosecutor Gavin's tough, he's really tough. Machi says he was very good friends with Mr. Latour's. Mr. Latour's was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. Okay. The Guitar Serenade, correct? Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the keyring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. I'm glad I didn't have to go through the translation animation every time. That is real nice. I could not have done it, you mean... It is very simple. Machi could not have done all the things that happened that day. For all those things followed the song lyrics closely. And he don't understand English. So, he says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. I don't believe that, though. I'll use the bracelet here. Mostly because he seemed to react to our English at points. Whoa, I can actually see his eyeballs. Whoa. I wonder if he blinks or something. I'm watching him closely. They were hidden behind glasses. Oh, there we go. There we go. Gotcha! It just looks like I'm looking at his eyes. Uh-oh. Machi, why are we... I mean, it's like, why are we doing this? But we're after the truth. You can't fool my eyes. You glanced towards her the very moment... Oh, Lammy said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that, he understands me. Marchie, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you? What are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue the charade? Mr. Justice, Marchie says this. I know the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language, that is all. What? Give me a break. Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Well, yeah, but... I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? I mean, that's true. It is simple. So simple, it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper. The newspaper? The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know? They've already begun to report about this case in our homeland. Yeah, I was right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes. They are quite fierce all of a sudden. I'm pretty sure the newspaper doesn't mention anything about the lyrics. I'm pretty sure they wanted to keep it out of the paper. Marchie is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. Where even is it? Oh, it's there. There. Article about the case. It doesn't mention the lyrics of Lammy's ballad. Can't fool me. I have here a Borginian newspaper. The Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed. There is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Marchie? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics. What? What is this all about? I'm sorry, Marchie. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper. Uh-oh. Busted. Did he just say, oh shit, in Borginian? It feels quite bad that we're doing this to our client, but... oh well. What does this mean? But I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes. Not possible. The subject of the lyrics were not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. The witness will explain himself. Marchie says, he says... She doesn't want to say. Yes. Yeah, it's true, I read the newspaper. But this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. Oh god. You remember? He says he heard the lyrics, or heard of the lyrics from me. What? That face. Is this true, Lemmy? Yes. I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself. Oh god, she's sticking up for him, I think. No! Then it looks like her forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. It seems so, yes. No, no! I was onto something. I know it. I can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with your cross-examination? What are you going to do, Apollo? If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I'd better have an angle of attack. Or else, we're screwed. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well. Witness. I understand. So it was I who explained that the crime followed the song. Okay. I'll just do it on this. This is the only new testimony. Well, what she's not doing out. What about Lemmy? Oh, she's doing that again! That means she's unsure. Gotcha! God. Sheesh. Lemmy? I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain? Oh, me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained. I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you. Lemmy, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself. Then allow me to answer for you. Lemmy, you're protecting... I mean, it's pretty obvious. Lemmy, you were protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lemmy lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me. Or you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English, you have to. Oh god. He does. That was an English scream. My god. Oh dear. So witness, is this true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little. Only. Speaks it too. What? First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lemmy. No, I did not. It is quite a surprise. How many secrets is this witness hiding? Last. This is last. Machi, could you tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did no shooting. So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those two gunshots, correct? Uh-oh. Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room, behind desk. Manager, he on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Voice? Or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo? So when Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Lutuz had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel high up, I take off, run away, run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defendant have anything to say to this? He's climbed up, Apollo. Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. What is this cocoon, anyway? The cocoon is... the silk is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me. That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth, for your own sake. No. No more speak. Not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, Hair Forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. Shit. It does seem that the defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant, so we might proceed. Okay. Oh dear. Apollo Eustace. That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Believe. I know shooting. Machi claims Mr. Lutuz was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap, and he walked right into it. So suddenly I hear revolver, close, very close. Then I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Miss Ullatu's already dead, and then you heard shots? If that's true... So... You were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots, and you escaped through the air vent. I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh, yeah. But how did he know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from Magician. Magician? Don't look at me. A magician, huh? Valant. Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Miss Ullatu's. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's going to go over well in court. Not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So, what do we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking. No. Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon. I wonder if he'll tell us about it. I can't go home. Can't go home? Oh, there's a pair of scissors. Yeah. I can't go home to Borginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Borginia is death. That's right, it's punishable by death. Did you smuggle it? Of course. He's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. So, what's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right. Right, okay. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So, will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lammy. Lammy? Of course he'd object. What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lammy's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... Lammy was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lammy dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin? Why would anyone be out to kill Lammy? Can you think of a reason? Well... Think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas, who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think... I do. It was the same person who shot Miss Ullatu's. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believed that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So am I to understand that this is what you're saying? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth in Lammy's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover. Exactly. If Lemmy was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lemmy's testimony once more. I don't even know if it's the same. Will it be the same testimony? I'm assuming so. Lemmy, I must apologise. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologise. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realises this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes? That is correct. At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court. Of course, Your Honour. Alrighty. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouze and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Ugh. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. And it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you are said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lemmy was attacked because of this testimony. What? Trucy? Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness. Yeah, I won't count on it. Okay. I can't use my bracelet. Is something wrong? I raised an objection. But she's saying the same thing she said before. Mr. Justice? Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony. Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days. The one in red over there is a shining example here, Judge. You're the last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar. Okay. Oh, that has actually changed, because in the testimony before, we didn't know it was the detective. Darian Crescent. I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him. The one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There is no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course. Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. Ooh. What were they talking about? Lemmy, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? You remember something? Something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The very clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouze. The shooter, then. Darian Crescent. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouze? I thought it quite strange myself afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? I mean, sure, I'd be delighted. It's, very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo. It actually is pretty vital. Press the switch now. Okay. So... it would be this. Triggers an igniter within 30 feet. 30 feet! There we go. That would be the switch that we're talking about. Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens, I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lammy heard was of someone commanding another to press the switch? Oh, the headset! Also... Fuck! I never even thought about that! I'm an idiot. Ah, jeez. It's a possibility. Wow. Oh, hair forehead? I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind you... to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lammy's dressing room. Not to mention that the Gaboners were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So, too, have Hair Forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. Finally, we have a use for this. Yes, the headset. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this. But why that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? This is a type of transmitter, a communications device. Communications? Device? From what I've heard, that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Actually, they're for talking between the band members. We all had one. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited. Lemmy said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum. Ah, exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be. So when Lemmy heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hit it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said, press the switch. Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where this switch was, there's little point in debating it. Ugh. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is this switch, anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. There we go. There's the light bulb. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about this switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice? If you have no further information to share concerning this switch... Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Justice? I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is. Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. I mean, it's because it is linked. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is? Also, this is the sound that, the song that plays on Ace Attorney Investigations when you're connecting logic. I'm pretty sure for both the first and second game, because I don't think they changed it. I thought I recognised it. Right, so what is the switch for? It's for the igniter. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? That's that what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Igniter? You mean it's a lighter? Oh, it's like a lighter. Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote... I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Here, put it in a safe place. Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry. That was a bit more fire than I'd expected. If my whiskers had caught on fire... Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Used on your guitar, no less. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Oh god, hiccups. Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of a performance. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? No. Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that kept... Wait, I am not even reading it. The guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got it in Borginia from Lemmy. He said the sound was amazing, before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Hair forehead? Yes. Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lemmy, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouze and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire. Well, that does seem to make sense. There's something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it. Really? It seems pretty simple to me. This is where he's gonna poke a hole in our logic. Hair forehead. Don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more... sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? His simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. But, however, the guitar caught fire during the second set. That's right, of course. Don't know why it's needed to show this again. The guitar caught fire during Lemmy's song, so she couldn't have heard them. Indeed, yet the shooter happened during the third set. No, shooting, not shooter. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See? His story makes no sense. Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise is this specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. Oh. What's this? But Detective Emma Skye heard shots and found the body. I love this fucking song so much. It's my favourite pursuit, because it's just so good. All of this happened in the third act. How do you know that, though? Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote trigger igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? How could that have happened, though? Because Machi was on the bloody piano, was he not? But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes? Hey, he's right, look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Go backwards. If you go backwards. So... yeah. If you did, the bullet would come first, then the fire, and then the keys. Yeah. But then the flying as well. I don't know. I'm gonna hope he's gonna just say, think about it backwards. Look. Why would the shooter craft the events... wait, craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through. With little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin? If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet Hairforehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was a ruse. Okay, so it was only backwards at the end. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way. Oh. Ooh. Order, order, order. That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. Darian. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly, it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good. I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic. For it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, Hairforehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lammy have heard a voice through it? Oh. I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lemmy's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated, immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lammy heard the voice? A key point, to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Not really. Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove, and one thing only. Lammy heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think. How was Lammy able to hear the voice? She has divine hearing, the window was open, she was somewhere else. I wonder if this will tie into the magic trick. Yeah. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it. Had it been open, either. Meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. Now it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment I was afraid you might be a Borginian too. As I was saying, Lammy could not hear the voice through that window. So there can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. I like how this song's just come back with a vengeance. What's this? You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Hair Forehead? Lammy clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? Yes, there is. I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You can't claim Lammy heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was. Lammy heard the voice from here. Actually, could I just do it? I mean, that would work, but there's also these two here. I'm just gonna go with that one. The air vent. This is where Lammy heard that voice from. But that's no small window. That's the air vent. What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lammy was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice. That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, Hair Forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? Huh, it hardly merits saying. Why would Lammy be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat, no offense intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lammy? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit, it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter. The problem here is words. Lammy, the small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. What? Oh wow, so we've been just going off of the assumption that it was a actual window. I mean, of course you would. That wouldn't even be in the realm of possibility. I will have order. Oh. Okay, I was about to say what happened. Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime? Yes, in fact, I was. I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? I cannot say. I believe it's time for another testimony. I'm not sure but I can't. May I remind you this is a murder trial? We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. I have an idea. As to why she's up there, I believe it is because of the magic trick. Above the ceiling. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I heard there was a small window there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter. I figured. It is, it's because of the illusion. I can guarantee it. Bound to secrecy. In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold. But you say you were there in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set. I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard. Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail. That's what the cross-examination is for. Yeah, hair forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. What are you going to do, Apollo? I'm going to find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Well, I kind of know where to begin. But I'm going to press everything. I also really need a drink. Only downside is, this might be noisy. Because it's in a metal flask. I'll try and open it quietly. So above the ceiling, could you be more specific? I cannot. I've also got ice in this drink, which might make a bit of noise. Oh no, it looks like it's all dissolved. Great, melted. Dissolved. What an idiot. Oh, ice cold water though. Whew, it's lovely. Because you're bound to secrecy. Yes. To tell the truth, I was not supposed to even say I was above the ceiling. God, it's a weird feeling when you have something really cold, and it's really warm, because you can feel it go all the way down your body. It's real strange. I dare not say more. Doesn't sound like I'll be able to coax it out of her just by asking. I'm gonna try. There was a small window, indeed. By small window, you mean the air vent. I only remembered I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see the light coming through the window, of course. The air vent grate could trip you up, certainly. So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshot. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard his voice come through from the room. Darian's voice. I knew something terrible had happened, yet it was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. So without a word, you just let the third set start. After the curtain closed for the second set, there was still much to do. You could have prevented this whole misunderstanding if you had only told us sooner. Oh god, yes, perhaps I could have. See the little point in badgering the witness. What's done is done. Indeed. The mind works differently when one is in the middle of a performance. Why, I've lost my voice in the middle of a show and kept on singing, completely unaware. Singing without a voice. If only all contradictions were so obvious. If only I could get Lammy to talk. Pressuring her like this doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere. We need evidence. Oh god, that was the lid. I was wondering what the hell that was. As to why I was there, I cannot say. Well, thankfully, I know why. It was because of this. Ooh. So Lammy, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. I was about to say, where's me mouse? Never mind. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's alright. It's alright here on this video. There it is. Kaboom! Oh man. Phew! It's still so bloody warm though, I hate it. Oh no! We have to watch the entire performance. But why? Well, kind of. Oh yeah, there's a hatch! On both different areas. Yeah. Huh. Let's just see Gavin putting out his guitar. I know, my pride and joy! As we can see, Lemmy was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Ah. Though it saddens me to be so realistic. Lemmy is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view. And during that time, she moved to the back of the forum. Apollo. What, Trucy? I'm exposing the trick. It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice. This is all very fascinating. But how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Oh. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin? This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed. Oh. Aha. He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. So... here we can trace a route through the ceiling. Ah, there we go. It goes from the stage, through the backstage, to the rear of the forum. Ah! Recall Lemmy's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way from stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. She went from the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of this route above the ceiling. Lemmy knew of this because of her part in the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know. I know if I opening vent. I can leave stage and backstage. That's right. He said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? I knew about the Vanishing Act, of course. Yet I had no idea of the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me? Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know? Which is why he bound Lemmy to secrecy. Well, Lemmy... I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. As you should be. Machi was right about you. So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling? I did. Well, that's that. But I'm still a little confused. Why is that, Your Honor? I've also just realised. In this, it has Your Honor, or Honor, is spelt without a U, but in the Great Ace Attorney, Your Honor is spelt with a U. So it's H-O-N-O-U-R, which is interesting. I thought they just misspelled it, but I suppose there are different ways of spelling it, depending on where you live, I guess. As I said before. But yeah, whenever I saw it, I was like, am I seeing things? Or is it like this in Apollo Justice too? There was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. Right. 20 seconds, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice. That's a good question. Can the witness explain this to the court? I cannot. Very well, Mr. Justice, yes? It's all up to you. Do your thing. What thing, Your Honor? You need to explain how Lemmy was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater. Ugh. Why do I get picked on? It's Lemmy who isn't going along with the program here. As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail. Understandably. So then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice. So it will be your job to wring the truth out of her. Yes, if you would, please. Right. I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo. Oh, right, the big illusion. Okay. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There was an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice. 2 minutes? 2 minutes? 2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens. Suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something. And as does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honour. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Lemmy is saying and what we can see plainly in the video. I figured it out already. I am a magician, after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets, come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. Ah, dear. So, okay. God, I'm gonna have to have more of my drink. I'm fucking boiling up here. Ooh! Like, literally dying. How did you proceed along this route? How? Why, I walked. But you arrived behind the forum much too fast to have been walking. To tell the truth, Lemmy, you rode some kind of vehicle. What? A vehicle? What vehicle? Still trying to take off the lid quietly. Sheesh. Ah, what a novel idea. I like it. Yeah, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad. Haha. Yes, laugh at the dumb attorney. I don't mind. I'm sorry, but the girl is right. That vent was much too small for vehicles. It was a tight fit. Even I had to crouch as I walked. I cannot imagine a vehicle that would fit in such a small space. Ah, if it wasn't a vehicle, what was it? You had me going for a while there, Mr. Justice. Too bad. Ready for the next part? Why do I feel like I'm on some kind of quiz show? Right there. It probably doesn't help that I'm boiling because I have so many things that just give off a shit ton of heat. Like my TV, my laptop. Everything. Everything electronic, essentially. So, did everyone on the concert staff know about the trick? Not all, only a few that were needed to help. See, like I said, it's on a need-to-know basis. So, not many people knew about the trick. What were these stagehands required to do? One needed to open the emergency exit. The door to the stairs is locked, but once through there... Okay. So, when you came back out, you were behind the audience. Yes, that is how it worked. Not a bad show, if I do say so myself. That's Uncle Valant for you. The old grammary touch. But on the video, you were only gone for 20 seconds. How is that possible? That's the part I don't get either. Yes, it would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds. Especially with, you know, stopping. So... Okay. Two minutes? I'm just not going to put my lid back on my drink. Screw it. It shouldn't get too hot. That's the hope, anyway. Yes, it can be done in 1 minute, if you are running. Running? In that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling? Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. Ah, that's true, but... So, you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes? Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lemmy disappears on the video for 20 seconds. But she said she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in that video. Well, Mr. Justice? Perhaps you have some evidence for us. Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony. Evidence explaining the discrepancy. Can I look first? God, I have to watch it all again, which is a pain. Worth it! Oh, I can speed it up! Nice! I was just gonna just cut to the different scenes. I guess. I'm just looking at, like, what could be different. In particular. Okay. We've seen that scene so many times. Oh, hang on. No brooch. There's no brooch. Okay, were they different people then? Wait. How would that work? Would the first person be the... Is the first person Lammy, or is the second person Lammy? Sure, I have evidence. The brooch is missing. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. The brooch. Lammy, do you happen to remember this brooch? The brooch? We saw that yesterday, did we not? It was found at the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now, why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped. So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video. Oh, fuck me. I realize I'm gonna have to watch it all again. Son of a bitch. Okay, it's only gonna cut to the proper parts. You can actually see the igniter start up then. It's actually on fire now. Oh! That starts on fire a lot sooner than I thought. Here you can see she's wearing the brooch. Mm-hmm. So she is. Let's look a bit later. Also, I'm sorry that I keep taking so many breaks to, like, have a drink. It's so warm. I have to keep myself from getting dehydrated. What? The brooch? It's gone. What? Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds. It takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can be only one explanation. The Lammy we see before the Vanishing Act and the Lammy we see after are two different people. What? What? Yeah. So, the brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene. And not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lammy, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did. Did she do it on purpose? Order, Prosecutor Gavin. From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Herr Judge. I, of course, knew about it. What? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it, it just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right, there was a switch. There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lammy was replaced. While we're on the subject, just who was this replacement? Lammy? Why the man behind the illusion? What? Valank Grimeri? It was Grimeri? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? How? He's a bloke. He has a beard. The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage? That's right. But this, fake Lammy is still singing. Microphone, douche. You idiot. And she's pretty good. That's true. Come on, Apollo, that's an easy one. They were just playing a recording. The Governors aren't some kind of Ekatar band, Frau Lane. Oh, you mean I'm wrong? When we play a show live, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lammy. Very well. Jesus, this goes on forever. Yes, do tell. And add it to your testimony. I had to keep singing even while I moved. You were singing? Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this. Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing, when everywhere I go is the same darkness? True. But if you were singing while you were walking... That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and the victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. What? Oh, that is right. I thought it said what for some reason. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in a ceiling. Once again we come back to the state of the scene of the crime. What state? I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Ah, that's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? Okay. It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones. It's useful for knowing when your set is coming up. Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker, playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. So, Lammy singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lammy singing over the speaker. Ingenious! Her voice was hidden by her voice. Lammy? I have just remembered something. Do tell. When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes, it startled me, so I stopped singing. What? I forgot the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Thankfully it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice. Forehead. That mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing? Huh? That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this. I'd completely forgotten about it. Oh, we're gonna listen. I guess. Let's take a listen. Whoa. Oh, okay. Would the gunshot not have been picked up on the mic? Pleasure. What a fleeting melody. Am I supposed to stop it? God, I keep touching my fucking... No, there we go. The song does stop there when she says pleasure. She says pleasure and then it has 3 dots, or it has ellipses. So if I check this... Oh, it was! It was supposed to be 2! That makes sense in terms of the first verse, because that was Sugar Sugar. Oh, right. Huh, wow. Look at the lyric sheet. At the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again. Oh, for fuck's sake. Just like drawing this out as much as they possibly can. Oh, right, yeah. There. Woohoo! My goodness. This is the evidence indeed. Oh, this is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake. The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lammy's ballad. If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter. Which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? Herr Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lemmy's testimony. Yes, is there a problem with this? Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant? But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself. The man? The myth. The legend. You don't mean. Yes. Though he is a friend and band member, Darian Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case... as someone with a new perspective on the case. As a suspect, to be frank. Oh. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole, and I'm ready to catch him. Darian Crescent, get ready for justice. Oh yeah! This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin. I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are. Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. Yay! Which means I'm now on the final part of this case. The question is whether or not I want to do it now, because it's still fucking boiling. How long would it take, do you think? Probably fairly lengthy. And I'm so uncomfortable. God, what do I do? I don't know. That's the problem. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna suffer through the fucking heat. Let's do it. Lobby number 2. I'm also starving, which doesn't help either. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act. And right in the middle of Lemmy's performance. Well, why she was in that air vent? I think that was while she was in that air vent. And that switch and the flaming guitar. When you link it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Hey! Ah, Daddy. Mr. Wright. You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that I'd make a cooler entrance than say, hiya! Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Ah, sorry about that, Trissy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latou's, only shorter and not as well dressed? Oh no, what if you're shot too, Daddy? Who would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machi Toba off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescent. It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our diva, Divine, is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch. A piece of jewellery and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But... oh god. But nothing. If the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Oh god. Like I said, good luck. Be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks... oh, this bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What the fuck? What are those? What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder. Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo. That's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. Burnt fragments. Weird. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict, maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darien Crescent's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door, just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods. What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. Oh god, I'm actually real tempted to do something I've never done before. Which is end the session, like, right here. Mostly because I'm starving, boiling, and bursting for toilet. Basically, I'm just hoping that the trial like, to get through it will take at least an hour. Which I think it should. Maybe. I don't know. Fucking hope so. But yeah, I feel really uncomfortable because I'm absolutely boiling. And sweating like mad. So yeah, I think I'm actually just going to end the session here. As terrible as that is, and I kind of hate myself for doing so, but I didn't realise it was going to be so unbearable. My god. Either way, that is going to be the end of the session. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, take care.